I do appreciate the opportunity to talk just briefly about a project we've been working on for a couple of years now in our maintenance operations. I want to really just tell you quickly about the project, a little bit about how the iPhone application works, and then some of our results and what Darren and I are talking about for construction division, construction operations. We did a pilot back last summer, that included two phases. The first one was really to adapt the application to our business, which was to attain an accuracy of plus or minus 2% when compared to LiDAR using the iPhone measurement. Once that was done, then we went to Beaumont and Lubbock districts and got to pilot the operation, or the app in operations. And there we found out from those that actually used it, what are the pluses, what are the minuses, will it work? And it seemed to be well accepted. All that used it liked it because it was fast, it was easy, and they felt much more confident in their stockpile measurements. We are now fully implemented in our maintenance sections, and what we're using this for really is to establish known quantities, really for material receipts, and also for ending inventories for either the end of a project, the end of a job, or certification for annual inventory. Because what we found in our pilot, we were essentially guessing every step of the way of our stockpile management. We bought our material by weight. We guessed how many cubic yards that would be and put it in stock. We guessed how much was in each truckload that went out, and then we guessed again at inventory time what was really there. And what the guys told me is they've always tried to figure out why we go measure the stockpile, does it not match what's on our records? And what we figured out, it was a accumulation of errors. And because they didn't know which number was right, they chose to do nothing because they didn't want to get fussed at for making adjustments to their accounts. So they just let it ride. And what we found out is the quantity compared to our stock records was actually off by an absolute value of 44%. It was pretty significant. So since January, since we started our rollout training, we've measured about 1.6 million cubic yards with the phone, and that's the videos. We've got some 575,000 cubic yards worth of estimates. But I thought it was interesting, we just went through a thing called the inventory reset you're probably familiar with, which was to do a wall-to-wall inventory. We measured some 1,400 stockpiles by video in that inventory, and I calculated out we've measured those stockpiles at a rate of 3.3 cubic yards per second. So I don't know, I thought that was pretty good, but the bigger deal is that we avoided 300,000 cubic yard error based upon the results of our pilot project. Something that I wanted to show all of you, because this I think is particularly interesting for management, that there's really two pieces to the application. One is the measurement of the stockpile, but the other is the reporting. And to tell you how it works, it's really very simple. You video your stockpile, you upload the data to the vendor, they send you a message when the calculations are complete, and then anyone with an account can log on and view the results. So area engineers, maintenance supervisors can log on and find out what the measurement results are without having to video the stockpile. So anyone can view results, anyone with an account can measure the stockpile, but you don't have to do one to do the other. All you need is 2 orange cones, a 25-foot tape, and an iPhone 5 or higher version. The cones actually supply the reference point for calculations, and that's why they need to be 25 foot on centers, and they should be orange, preferably solid orange, because their software actually has a cone detector that looks for orange triangles, and that's where they start their calculations. To measure a stockpile, it's you simply walk walk the path, you put the cones down in front and keep the camera pointed at the stockpile with the top and bottom within the viewfinder. And the mantra is to view both cones twice, that the vendor wants to be sure that you've overlapped that loop so they feel like they've got a good look at the data. Once you've got your video, it's pretty simple. You have really 3 options for syncing or uploading your data. You can use Wi-Fi network, you can use the cell network, or you can go back to the office and use the your desktop utility and go through your hardwired network connection. And what we're finding is that many are using the desktop utility because the Wi-Fi is just not very great where some of their stockpiles are. And rather than chew up the battery on the phone, they just turn that switch off and go back to the office and upload their data. For the reporting, I wanted to show you that you log in. We've gone with IT has connected this app to our directory so that when you log in, you use your TextDot credentials. So you just use your name, email address, and password. The opening screen will show you the last 7 days measurements for the access that you have. You can have statewide access or a district or a stock account, whatever you need, whatever your manager thinks you need. What I've done here for purposes of this meeting is try to show right up here I've filtered the data for the construction, and I hope you can see those little blue dots, but we've got measurements in the construction arena in both San Angelo and Austin districts. And I chose to do all and went back to February of this year for the date range, just because I knew we did some right after we started training in January. So that's the construction type measurements. This is the map view. And I'm going to show you here in just a minute the area that's at that pit in the red square, but I first want to show you the other piece of the top level report, which is the map or the list view right there. You can choose when you log in. You don't have to look at the map. If you just need the data, when you select the list view, it'll simply give you a table of all the measurements that were made that are shown on that map view. So this is the list view from those points you saw a minute ago, some 25, 35 estimates that were made. When we start to zoom in on that red square so we can start to see what that pit looks like, you can see that several measurements have been taken over the time frame of that report. And I wanted to show you that, just show that you could look over time and see what's happening at that pit. You could also look, in this particular one, there's been several measurements. You see several pinpoints. So I wanted to zoom in on that one to see that you can start to see the footprint of several measures that were made over time. You can obviously filter that down, but if you want to see any one of them, when you click on the pinpoint, it will open up what I'd call the top level report, and it will show you the material, the date of the measurement, the pit name, the material name, and the results of that measure. And you can see that stockpile measured in April the 16th, measured 28,294 cubic yards. There's 2 hot links right here when you come in from the web. One is called the full report, and the other is called the video, reconstructed video. I did not try to load a video for fear it might not work, but what they put on there is just a clipped video so you can look and see what the stockpile looked like when it was measured. I know some of our maintenance supervisors were particularly interested to see that so they can take a look at vegetation, things piled up against the stockpiles, that kind of thing. But they can tell what it looked like and what condition it was in. But the full report looks like that when you open it up. So it will show you at the top level the pit name, the material, and the date of the measurement. And you can see here, it's the same one I looked at a minute ago. It's 28,000 cubic yards. Kathy Galbraith made the measurement. She did it by phone with an iPhone, and it took her 5 minutes and 39 seconds to take that video. When she got her help from her area office to do that same thing, it took 2 guys an hour. So they saved the difference between 2 man hours and 5 minutes. This is why Darren and I are talking about what to do next, but this is the results. When we got through with our phase 1 measurements, we found that the iPhone and GPS measurements were on par with each other. Compared to LiDAR, they were both about 1.7, 1.5% off the known quantity. We unfortunately did not get a survey crew for the full length of the project, which I'm sure you can all understand that they're busy. So we had to compare our employee measurements to the iPhone. Since we knew the iPhone was close to the known quantity, and we found that for the measurements done in phase 1, they had a 25% error, 26%. In phase 2, we again tried to get a survey crew, but were unsuccessful. So again, we compared employees' measures to the iPhone, and there the sample got bigger, and so did the error in their measures. And that's what we tended to see, is that the larger the stockpile, the more irregular the shape, the worse the error, which stands to reason. What we've done so far with our construction, the measurements you saw, we had comparison measures for our TxDOT employees that they were 13% off the same measurements with the phone. And we also had contractor measurements that they had supplied that we found varied some 17% from the measurements made with the phone. So with what we know just very early on, we've talked with Darren, and we're looking at what we're going to do next. And that will be to define a pilot project that we can put in our construction operations to collect the data and see what cost savings may be there and what benefits might be available to the department. Primarily in materials on hand is where we think might be the biggest use, but that's what we want to do the pilot for, is to find out.